In this session, I will guide you through wilderness insight meditation, which gives you insight into the ultimate nature of your thoughts and perceptions. In the Buddhist tradition, this would correspond to Vipassana. In that tradition, you label each thought thinking, realizing that thoughts are appearing with no thinker behind them, and being amazed at the magic of it all. However, in the Christian mystical tradition, your thoughts and perceptions and emotions are coming from the depths of another, the divine beloved, who dwells within you and whose unspoken love word echoes through everything that is. I'd like you to begin by taking a comfortable position, either sitting on a chair or couch or on a meditation cushion. If you're facing a blank wall, you can leave your eyes partly open. Otherwise, simply close your eyes so that you can focus on the imagery that I'm going to share. You can begin by focusing on your exhalations. As some teachers would say, mixing mind with space. With each exhalation, your attention follows your breath out into the surrounding landscape and away from the claustrophobic confines of your usual identification with thoughts and emotions. And so, as your attention follows your exhalation, simply let your exhaling be and imagine this following landscape. Not far from here in northern New Mexico is a beautiful landscape of Jurassic Entrada sandstone, 250 million years old. It is layered in orange, yellow, and beige, with purple drizzled down the layers. It's the country that Georgia O'Keeffe painted in, near Ghost Ranch in Abiquiu, New Mexico. As you go to this Forest Service site, you hike through several rows of pinon, pine, and juniper trees, and you go right up next to this naturally hollowed out amphitheater of sandstone, concave. Behind the row of trees, behind you, is the state highway. And you'll notice a fascinating thing happens. As you stand right next to this beautifully colored cliff, you hear echoes of the cars on the highway, even though you can't hear the original car sounds themselves. You'll notice the same thing occurs when coyotes call. You hear echoes of the coyote calls against the cliff, but you can't hear the original coyote calls themselves. Well, you are that concave cliff. You are spaciousness, that spacious expanse of the sandstone and of the sky above, the beautiful blue New Mexico sky. And those echoes resounding off the cliff are your thoughts, your emotions, and your perceptions. In the imagery, which is a poetophatic image, you know that there actually are cars on the highway, and there are actual coyotes. But as applied to your inner life and the life of your source, God, you realize that there are no original car sounds. There are no original coyote calls. And so I'd like you to imagine this myth. Your divine source, the presence of the Creator, of God, is in love with the beauty of the world that is about to come to be. This source, this presence is just about to speak a love word in the depths of all that is, all phenomena. But before he can ever speak that word, loses himself in blissful ecstasy, lost to himself in spaciousness, in the places that are most like his transcendence, the spacious landscape, like echo amphitheater. And even though that original love word is never able to be spoken, nevertheless echoes of that never spoken word appear at the root of every one of your thoughts, your emotions, your perceptions, your memories. And you stand amazed that everything echoes from this primordial realm, far, far away, long ago. It echoes into the present moment, bringing with it a sense of mystery and surprise. And you wonder, how is it that there is no original love word, but everything echoes with that divine presence? And so every time a thought appears, an emotion appears in the spaciousness of your awareness, for you are that sandstone cliff merged with your out-breaths. Every time a thought appears, or an emotion or perception, simply label it echo, echo, and return to a visualization of that wide sandstone expanse, or of the wide New Mexico sky above it. And as you label each echo, practice amazement that these echoes are coming from a far distant primordial realm, as though out of nowhere. And you marvel at the fact that each of your thought has an intimacy because it comes from a love word that is just about to be spoken. You may say, well, my thoughts are pretty ordinary. They're nothing special. But remember that the desire for happiness, the desire for love is at the root of all of our thoughts and emotions, no matter how twisted they may seem to be up on the surface. There's that desire for happiness, which echoes from the divine desire for you to be happy, for you to be love. In fact, you might even make a game out of your thoughts, realizing you never know what's going to appear next. Will it be a memory from the past? Will it be a thought about something that you have to do today? Will it be something that is happy, something that is sad, something that is just neutral? You never know what will come next. And as some meditation teachers have said, beauty is the harmony of silence and thought, especially as the thoughts appear as these echoes, coming as though out of nowhere. And so, after you bring up this myth, this sense of your divine source about to speak a love word and emptying out in ecstasy before the word can ever be spoken, yet everything echoes with this love. Just let the image be. If you want, you can return to it as you say the word echo, echo, every time a thought arises, or you can simply let it rest as you rest back into the spaciousness. You'll simply practice like this for 20 minutes, and you can set a timer. In this case, at the end of this brief description, I'll ring the meditation bell. During this meditation, you might feel that you latch on to your thoughts and you forget that they're floating in this spaciousness, this awareness, this divine bliss that comes from the primordial realm. But every time you latch onto a thought, simply let it go by saying echo, echo. And remember that if you get upset at yourself for latching on to a thought or perception and constricting around it, forgetting that it actually arises within vast space, you don't need to be upset at yourself, and realize that the feeling of being upset is simply one more thought to let go of, one more echo arising out of the spaciousness. And remember that actually, while you think that you are the one doing this practice, the practice is doing you. Your desire to enter into divine spaciousness and the amazement at the echoes arising as though out of nowhere, your desire is actually an echo of the divine desire for you. So, as you rest back in spaciousness, allowing your thoughts to arise, labeling them echo, being amazed that they seem to come out of nowhere, simply enjoy this time, and you might make a game of not knowing which thought will appear next. You watch creation happening before your very eyes. I'll ring the meditation bell, and then you can meditate on your own for 20 minutes.